amazing. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and happy Saturday, y'all. Welcome to the Success Code Fireside Chats. It's your girl, Lorna. I am super excited to be here with you today. We made it, y'all. We made it to Saturday. Yay. So, we always start the show by recapping the week a little bit. And my week has been amazing. Amazing because I am still uh, tweaking and kneading and creating the Accelerate Her show, which is going to be on October 29th and 30th, which is in about 10 days. So if you haven't registered yet, you can register now. The doors are open and the tickets are $1, and those proceeds goes towards Alzheimer's Association. I typically every year I raise funds for Alzheimer's, and the reason why I do that is because my grandmother had the disease, and when I experienced her in that moment, um, that time. When I say that moment, I mean that time. You know, I didn't understand what Alzheimer's was, and now that I do, I am doing as much as I can to make a contribution to eradicate that disease, because I believe it's possible to eradicate that disease. And I would love your support in um, locking arms with me to do that, right? Because I think that, and I was just listening this morning to something that talked about the peel of a lemon. Something as simple as a peel of a lemon can support the reduction of mental and physical diseases. So, with that said, go grab your tickets. That event is going to be amazing. The event is going to be filling the gaps in your business. If you're an entrepreneur, whether you are an online entrepreneur or brick and mortar entrepreneur, you get to be at that event because we're going to really fill the gaps in your business to make sure that you end this year in an amazing blue, not red, in your bank account and moving into 2026 with momentum. So that's what I've been doing this week. And look out for me every day in the next 10 days because I'm going to be bringing you some previews of what's going to happen then. So, guess who we have on the show today, y'all? One of your favorites. I brought her back because Diane Armitage, she was one of the first people to say yes to be on this show when I started. And we had great conversation, and her conversation has just been watched the most by y'all. So I decided to bring her back. So welcome back, Diane. Happy Saturday. Great to
Thank
have
you.
you
Happy to
on the
be
show
here.
again.
Very happy to be here. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. So, Diane, do you want to, just in case people haven't experienced you before, go ahead and share something new about you that the audience doesn't know right now. What's new about you that the
Something
audience
new
doesn't know right
about me. Interesting. Something new about me. Well, uh, I'm really excited about the fact that we now have great horned owls hanging out in the tree outside my window because we had a big seagull infestation that was really loud and raucous over the summer. And on my birthday in September, I made 3 wishes that the seagulls would somehow disembark because it was very nerve wracking. And the great horned owl showed up the next day. It's
now. Just
fabulous
in case
silence.
y'all don't know, they know. In case y'all don't know, Diane is a master manifester.
I am
So
that.
I'm just saying, y'all better get ready.
I got it in
Master
my owls,
manifester.
man.
Um, Yeah, I love that. Just do owls have a meaning? Is there a meaning, a spiritual
Oh, yes,
meaning to owls?
quite a
Do you?
meaning. I've been doing all kinds of research on the spiritual meaning of owls.
Research.
Yes. Yes, of course, I have been,
Yeah.
yes. It's really, really interesting. But, owls are very, you know what? They exist in a being state. They exist in a being state. They're not chasing, they're not scrabbling, it's just happening for them, and they know it's happening for them. They are beasts of the air. The only thing that will go up against a great horned owl is a bald eagle. They just stand in their power and they know who they are. I love it. It's what I teach
That's
all the time.
interesting.
Mm, yeah.
Girl, that showed up for you. Oh, that's a whole nother show.
I know.
That's a whole nother show. Oh my gosh. Or
Oh,
maybe
yes,
it's
yes.
not. Maybe it's part of this conversation. Oh no. Y'all know that here on the Success Code Fireside Chats, we have leadership meeting, conscious leadership meeting, business and real talk. So if y'all don't want to hear real talk, this is us just doing real talk. Okay. So, and we're going to bring in business and we're going to bring in leadership. It's all in one, right? So
Correct.
listen up. So Diane,
Mm,
when I brought you on today, we wanted to talk about success again, right?
mhm.
And talk about how I see success has been trending in the world since I started the show. I noticed that things are shifting a little bit. And we were talking before we got on live, a little bit about, well, maybe people are becoming more aware now and success is shifting into more, okay, what is the being of success versus the doing of success, which is the physical things, financial, money, all the things. So, have you seen any changes in the definition of the worldly view of success that we've been brought up and programmed into?
Oh, I think things are definitely changing. And it was so interesting when you sent me this topic because I started thinking about some of the things I've been teaching and working in. And, in the 30 years that I was writing with Bob Proctor, he would always quote the quote from Earl Nightingale on the definition of success being the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. The progressive realization of a worthy ideal. And, that's all well and good. But I think what you're talking about and what I'm seeing in my own clientele and what I'm seeing in my own life is I think my definition of success would be the progressive realization of who you really are. Success is not a future event that you're working on, it's a present state of consciousness. That which I feel myself to be, I am. And that is the work of success, right? I mean, everything that you could possibly hope and dream for, success proceeds from your being state. And I think that's where the shift is beginning to happen in the world consciousness right now.
Sometimes people, I love that you're bringing that in because you know and here's where I want to go with this because the being states sometimes can get very challenging for people because we have been so programmed into the doing state, right?
Correct.
So
Mhm.
how do you think we can support people to start stepping into being because being doesn't mean that you're not doing at the same time, right? It's
Correct.
both and
Correct.
it's both
Mhm.
and but it's how you do what you do in a
Mm.
certain way, right? I can't believe that just came out of my mouth. Yesterday I was actually listening to the science of getting rich again
Uh-huh.
because I've decided, and if anybody wants to join me in this challenge, I've decided that that's good. I'm going to read that book via audio because it's 2 hours. I'm going to read that book once a week for the next however many days we have left for the rest of the year. And see what happens. If anybody wants to jump in on that challenge with me, just put in the comments and let's stay accountable every week. reading Science of Getting Rich. And in the Science of Getting Rich and in Think and Grow Rich, there's a portion of the book that Napoleon Hill talks about doing things in a certain way, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So, how, from your perspective, what is the easiest way for someone who is just stepping into this newness of how success is being defined as a way of being, and stepping into that versus the doing? Because it might sound simple to people because they know it, but what if they don't know what we're talking about? How would
No,
we
I
define
understand.
newness?
Well, I understand. I think first it's so important to understand that being part, right? The powerful
Mhm,
part of you, the creator and the catalyst of you, because so many people just argue for how small they are and that they're not ever going to be able to create the success they want because this is how their life is supposed to be. Not
mhm,
understanding that they are a creator, meaning that you are in charge of directing your thoughts and feelings because you are energetic, moving things into form, and you're a catalyst. You provoke change instantly, right? Because we're all energy, and your energy affects everything that you push into the consciousness of the world. So whether you're conscious to that or unconscious of that, you are creating. And most people don't understand how powerful that is when they look at their success and how much they want success. And so I think I think the biggest issue is that they are thinking from a consciousness of lack, and they're doing this stuff to achieve the success. And but they are saying things like, when I wish I was more successful. I want success. I want more money. I want better health. When you're doing that, you're living in a consciousness of absence. You're living in a consciousness of lack. And so you're actually reinforcing this and continuing to have that show up in your life. Does that make sense?
You know what just came to me as you said that?
Hmm.
And maybe this is an aha moment for me. Um, when you said that, I understand and I'm aware of the fact that the more you chase the thing is the more you're operating from a space of scarcity, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And what if this is the part that just came to me is that if we are always in that mode, then that
Hmm.
is actually the definition of hard work.
Hmm.
Is that it just snapped in me just now. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. If we're always chasing more, right? Then that's the hard work, because if you were being more, it would allow, because
You
then
are
you're in
so
abundance,
absolutely right. Yes.
right?
So
Versus the
absolutely right.
scarcity. So the scarcity is a chase,
Hmm.
yeah? And the abundance is the allowing. That's what I just heard when
Exactly.
you said it.
This is one of the things that I teach my clients. The difference between attaining and obtaining versus
Mhm.
expressing and allowing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, when you're placing success outside of yourself, you're making it something to be attained rather than something to be expressed. And this is the fundamental error that keeps pushing success away from you. It's not something to pursue. Success is not what you pursue, it is a consciousness to be assumed. Assumed
Mhm.
means to suppose to be the case even without proof. Assume is to suppose to be the case even without proof, meaning that you are already in the space of having already achieved the success. And you are capable of that success because you've already thought it. You're already imagining it. You're already creating it in the energetic sphere. It's like
Yeah,
Wallace Wattles talks about. You've already
yeah,
grabbed the idea from the ether and
yeah,
you're moving it into form, right? It's the
yeah,
consciousness of being. So it's not about attaining or obtaining, it's about being in that assumption space and that expression space. Oh, so cool,
yeah.
isn't it?
I know. Yes, and
Yes,
Diane,
yes.
because we have been so programmed. I know for me, I've been working on this for years, right?
Mm,
And
of
being
course.
getting into the understanding of the being and uh acknowledging the being, right? Because that's part
Mhm.
of the process. The awareness
Yes.
is one piece, the first piece. And this is what I teach in my programs, right? The awareness is the first piece. Because awareness is the beginning of transformation. If you're not aware, right? That's the unconscious thing that you do. And by the way, one thing I wanted to talk about today too was the idea of unconscious competence and
Mm.
how that is affecting and impacting how we transform and transition in and out of states of being.
You were
What do you
reading
got to
my
say about that?
LinkedIn. You were reading my LinkedIn. I love it. You're
I
reading
don't, I
my
don't
LinkedIn. That
that
makes
was
me
that
so
was just
happy.
eh?
Somebody's reading it. Oh, I mean, I think that you unconscious competence is that being place, right? One of the things I'm referring to my LinkedIn thing because I had an interview with a gentleman earlier this week, and he is in that unconscious competence space. He assumes it's going to go his way. He just lives from that space. He may lose millions of dollars. It doesn't even matter to him because he knows millions more is coming. And these people who live in unconscious competence always talk about words like, you know, serendipity and it was accidental. And, they say these things because they don't even understand that they are wielding all of the empowerment of them into the power of the energy that they're putting out there. And it's going their way because they're choosing it and they're deciding it. And so, and they're allowing that vibration to carry them into new opportunities that initially they may not see, but they pick up on those opportunities and they move forward on those opportunities, and that is success, right? It's
Yes,
being in
yes,
the state and being in the state to being moving into action from that intuitive guided sense of your highest power that is you.
yeah.
That's what unconscious competence is about. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I love the way you explained that just now. Because as you're explaining it, I'm remembering when I started in real estate, right? And I had a coach, and she used to always say, "Lorna, you are an unconscious competent." And I used to be like, "Well, what do you mean by that?" Because back then I wasn't in transformation, and I was just doing the
Yeah.
do, right?
You are just unconscious.
I was just I was unconscious. And when she said that, I'm like, I don't know what you mean. I just do what I do, right? And now that you're saying it, I'm like, wow, yes, it's a knowing. It's a knowing that there is no other way, right? There's no other way. And imagine people who are listening to us today and can hear this conversation and be like, oh, that's me. Well, now I'm conscious of that. I'm an unconscious competent. Now I'm conscious. Oh my God, the possibilities that exist now that I know, right? It's like, wow, the door's open, you know? It reminds me of knock on the door shall be open. You just knocked, boo. You just knocked. I just love it.
Well,
I love
so
having these
many of it.
conversations with you, Diane. Having you on this show just lights me up because it's just the way you think is like amazing. So,
Well,
and
I
by the way, we do have a guest in the studio. I'm saying hi to Shiraz. Shiraz, say hi to Diane. I see one person in the StreamYard studio. If you are here from YouTube or Facebook, I can't see you, but do put your questions in the comments. I think it'll come up on my screen in StreamYard.
I
If
saw
you
it.
know me, you know that I'm not a techie, so don't judge me based on that. Just, be open and be free and ask your questions. Will come back in and answer them after the show. Okay? All right. So, Diane, I want to go a little bit deeper because when I have your attention and your wisdom in my space, I know I grow as well. Um,
Very kind.
so in the in your world, what do you think is the single biggest mindset pattern that blocks people from stepping into that next level? Like, what is the thing that, aside from awareness, what is the thing that is stopping people that you've seen in your world?
Well, okay, that's kind of a big ball of yarn to unwind. But I mean, a lot of times I tell my clients that the biggest thing that's keeping them from success is the as soon as disease. And
Ah, mhm.
and so they think, well, as soon as the kids are out of school, as soon as I get this divorce, as soon as I get married, as soon as I have that baby, as soon as, you know, I get my college degree, as soon as, then I will be on the path to success, right? And so they're always kind of readying to get ready to get ready.
Getting ready to
And
get
I
ready.
refer to it
Mhm.
a lot as like paddling around in the harbor where you like, I have this goal and I'm going to go out there to I'm going out of the harbor and I'm heading to the new port. That is my goal. But instead, you're either paddling around in the harbor with all of your busyness, getting ready to get ready, or you haven't even untied from the dock. You haven't even believed enough in that concept of you and believed in the power that you have to move forward to that new ideal that you haven't even untied from the dock. And that's really where a lot of people fall back because they have this belief system that is so ingrained, this groove in their minds that they think, okay, I'm gonna make this happen. I'm gonna happen. But they have all these paradigms built into their reasoning mind. And whenever they have this big, bright, beautiful idea, they take it down to their reasoning mind to try to figure out how to do it. And they're doing it the wrong way because the reasoning mind doesn't want to know how to do a new thing. It likes you where you are in your life. And so that's when you end up being busy and being distracted and working really hard and not making it happen because you're trying to do it from the reasoning mind way and not understanding that you've got to shift that groove first. And shifting that groove first has a lot to do with understanding and stepping into the identity of you. It's like you
Yeah,
said, self observation is first. Neville Goddard talks about this. Self
yeah.
observation is always first. Where am
Yeah.
I living? Where do I want to be living? And then definition of aim is the second, which is definition of aim is seeing that you actually are a powerful creator and catalyst and that you can
Mm,
step into this space and that you begin to move into this, which is what I call in the Maxwell Maltz world, moving from unconscious incompetence to conscious incompetence. And you're working your way to conscious competence, right? But you're recognizing, oh, I'm bigger than I thought I was. That's the
yeah.
definition of aim. That's where, and then you detach from the
Oh,
old identity. You detach from the old identity and you step fully into the I amness of you. And
yeah.
that's where the magic really starts to happen.
That's a mouthful you just dropped.
I did. Well,
That's
you
such a
told me. I
mouthful.
said it was a big ball of yarn.
I know. That's a mouthful. First of all, when you started talking, I heard Esther Hicks get ready to get ready to get ready to get
Yes,
ready.
yes,
She cracks me up
yes,
when she says that.
yes.
Um, And as you were talking, it's like I'm watching, so I'm looking at where in my life have I operated like that, right? Like, moving through each space that you just shared, right? It's like it's a process, right? Like you don't just go from, and even when you become aware, it's not an arrival, right? It's not a destination that you're getting to because each level of awareness opens up another level that you get to climb into and learn about how learn new competency, right, into that new level of awareness. But I love the way you
Express new
explained that.
competency, express new competency.
Yeah, yeah,
And we've
yeah,
already got it inside us.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you for that. um the idea of detachment, that's how do I say this simple, that's a challenge.
Mm. It's
That's
the
a
biggest
challenge.
challenge. Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a challenge. So let's talk
Because
about that a little bit because Mhm.
Right, because you're dealing
Go
with
ahead.
beliefs that, for the most part, you are unconscious to. And Neville Goddard always says, "You are freed or constrained by your belief." You are freed or constrained by your belief. And most constraints are coming from that identity that you think you are, that you've grown up with, that everyone's told you you are. All of the paradigms in your head, all of the habitual thought patterns, and that false identity is what's been running the show. And
Yeah,
so you have to actually be able to observe that first, right?
yeah,
And see
yeah.
that that is what's been happening and that those beliefs aren't really your beliefs. And then you say, well, who am
What
I?
what do I believe?
What
Right?
do I believe? Right?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
have you have been living in this severely restricted scope of life in comparison to everything that you are and that
yeah,
everything you can express. And
yeah,
so, yes, it takes, but it's not about going back and trying to figure out why that belief pattern happened and how that came about and who's at fault for it. It's not about that. It's about saying, this is who I choose to be. This is how I choose to live. And I'm going to live in this space in my imaginative mind. And I am going to build my reality from it because nothing comes out into reality but through your imaginative mind. And you have the ability to apply your
yeah,
imaginative mind to a new idea, to a new way you want to
yeah,
be
yeah,
living.
yeah, yeah,
You still with
yeah.
me?
And I just want to hear from your perspective. I remember when I have a lot of stories, y'all. I guess that's
You're
why
a
God
great
said, show you.
storyteller.
I remember as you're talking, the memory came back to when I bought my second house. So I'm gonna parallel. When we bought the first house, we were in the doing state. When we bought the second house, we were in the being state. And I'm gonna show you the difference. So when we started the process, it was like, okay, how do we get the house? And we were doing all the things like, going to the bank, getting the loan, going and looking at all areas and all the things, right? And we got the house. It was a challenge. Second time we bought the second house, it was way different. First of all, we used to go and sit any house that we knew we wanted. We would go and sit at the house and just imagine everything happening in the house in that moment, right? So sitting on the front porch, watching people come visit, imagining the barbecues in the backyard, all the furniture in each room, all the things. That's how we did the second house. So as you were talking just now, I'm remembering that is how, things moved as I learned. So the gap between the first house and the second house was learning and understanding, and I'm still in the process, still understanding who I am and what's possible and
Mhm.
how to be so that things manifest in a certain way. And don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. I fall back into the old way of being sometimes.
We
But
all
the
do.
the trick is, and I tell my clients this all the time, the trick what we're working with is mastery, right? When you master how to shift between states, then you become like this genie in a bottle, for lack of a better way of saying it. You become this genie. Yes, we're human. We're going to go back into the old states of being because it's so programmed. No matter how old you are, imagine how old you are now that you've been programmed all this time. We're giving you this information today. We're in the now. Now you're aware, right? When you hang up from this call, 10 chances to one, you're going to go back to the old way of being, the old state of thinking. Now, if you are really intentional about shifting your way of being and your thought process about who you are, you may come back and you listen to this again, you'd be like, oh, that's what she said, that's what she means. Let me practice that. What I'm trying to say is this, not what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is this is a practice. It's a practice when you know and you catch yourself, you practice, you shift, and that's the game we're playing, y'all. That's the game of the expression we're playing because you are already that person. You just get to shift shift until you master it. And I don't know how long it's going to take to master it, but I'm here for it because it's so fun. Right, Diane?
That's right.
It,
That's
it
right.
is so fun. It is so fun. So, um, what would you say to entrepreneurs who are doing stuff that's, they feel they're doing all the right things, but it's not working? What would you
Mhm.
say to them? Like, how would you support them in shifting right now?
Well, I think that you first need to look at when you say you're doing the right things, are you being the right thing? Because the occupying the state is the key. And it is the key. So when you're doing all the right things, how are you feeling about those things that you're doing? Because your feeling tone sets your vibrational energy. And we are energetic, kinetic beings that are always interacting with the energy around us. So when you check in with how you're feeling about what you're doing, is it fulfilling? Does it feel like you're on purpose, on track? Is it flowing? Is it easy? If it is, keep doing that because you're in that state of occupying the being state. If it feels like work, if you're feeling tired, if you're exhausted, if you feel like a zombie on the weekends, if it's just not clicking, you're trying too hard. You're trying too hard to force something into play instead of letting it flow into play. And flowing into play comes from imaginative work first.
Yeah.
Imaginative work first. Imagination is the key. So many times when I feel like I'm getting kind of wrangled up, I will take a breath. I will go for a walk. I will go walk on the beach. I will do something that gets my mind back into that higher vibrational gratitude, feeling space, imagination space. Opening
Yeah.
up and saying, okay, clearly I'm trying to do this wrong. What could I do what can I think of? What could I do that could really make this fun? What could I do that would shift it for me to make it um, more entertaining for me as I move this thing forward? I mean, it's really about checking in with how you're feeling. And if you feel like, oh, there's so much work, not working. I talk about the tower of power, your built in tower of power. When you're in that
Mm.
space, you're trying to climb up to the worthy ideal from your reasoning mind. And your reasoning mind is doing everything it can to fight you on it and put obstacles in your way and keep you from moving forward because that's going to change your life and it's going to change everyone's life around you. And your reasoning mind doesn't want that. And so even as you try and work harder and put more hours in, you're really just spinning wheels of doing instead of stepping back, occupying the state of being, of having already accomplished this thing. And when you can get into this state of imagining already accomplishing this thing, sitting on the stoop of the house, having the barbecues, saying hello to the neighbors coming by, being in that energetic state, that is the energetic state that you send out vibrationally. And the quantum law of vibration, a lot of people call it law of attraction. That's kind of a secondary law to the law of vibration. The quantum physics law of vibration. Energy attracts the same energy. You will find that you will have energetic opportunities showing up to support you in this thing that you are accomplishing and realizing. I
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
that sounds like, I don't know, kind of fairy maybe,
No, well,
but it's
and
how
here's
it
the thing.
works.
Yeah, and again, I hope people are getting this, that this is a conversation that they get to listen to over and over and over and over and over and over again, because this is literally us working on reprogramming your mind, because it's
Mhm.
it's it's not what you're, like Diane said, it's not what your reason mind is used to. And remember, your brain plays a part in it too. When your brain is meant to keep you safe, when you start doing stuff, thinking in ways that your mind is not used to, you are going to get a defense from your brain. The brain is meant to protect you. It's a survival mechanism. So
Indeed.
something new coming into your space, new information coming into your space totally debunks that, right? So now it's up to you to be consistent. And this is where consistency comes in as well, right? Because it's not a one and done. It's again, like I said before, a practice. You got to practice this new way so that your brain and your mind come to cohesion, right? And that's where the
Correct.
ease comes in. So it's this is some deep stuff. I know it may sound uh woo woo. It's not.
Hmm.
This is who we are
It's
as
quantum
human
physics.
beings.
It's
Yeah,
quantum physics.
it's yeah, yeah. Um,
But I mean, it
it's
really is. It can be one and done. It can be one and done. But I mean, it's getting past the old paradigms that we have had grooved into our minds forever. Yes. But when you choose to step in and occupy that state, the being state, that person that you have become, and the way you live your life because you have achieved this result, this goal, whatever, the more you can be in that space, the faster it happens. The faster it happens.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I mean, one of the things Neville Goddard teaches is one of the best things to do. Go to sleep at night, put yourself in that space, put yourself in that space, put yourself in that space. And he has this 7-day exercise that I implemented in with my clients. And it's not this big, long life story. I've got to watch the film of my life thing. Those are great. It's awesome to do that for several minutes at a time. Do it in the morning, do it at night. But he said, just pick one feeling tone. Like if you looked at your lottery ticket and you realized you had the winning number, what is that
would
feeling
that
tone?
be?
If you
Mhm.
had an email show up and that person said, "We're going with you, the contract is yours, and it is this much money, we're sending you this much money now." If you just read that two sentences, how would you feel? If you checked your bank account and all of a sudden you had this windfall in your bank account of $300,000 or something like that, think about how you would feel.
Yeah,
That's the feeling tone you want to carry into your sleep, into your subconscious state. And
yeah,
just that second, just that blip of energy shifts everything, everything.
yeah. So you got to consciously do that though, and most
Uh-huh.
people fall. You got to consciously do that, and most people fall asleep without even thinking. So
Well,
that's why
what
when
I,
I say it's not one and done, I mean yes, it's one and done, and it's a continuum because
yes,
again,
correct.
we go in and out of the old paradigm,
It's
right? And
true.
again,
Yes,
the conscious awareness of where you are in your thought process is going to be absolutely imperative. Um, I know for me to to go into those states before sleeping, that for me is I get to be really, really conscious about it so that I can put it in my mind, turn the light off and go, right? Because it
yes.
can't be like, one of the things I tell my mom all the time, again, I'm telling a story. My mom has to have the radio on or the TV on to go to sleep. And I keep telling her, I've told her for years, Mom, do not have the radio and the TV on when you go to sleep. And she even when I say it stays on the whole night. I'm not just talking about she's gonna get up later on and turn it off. No, she has it on the whole night, and I'm going, Mom, just please don't do that, right? Because that's if you're gonna have something on for the whole night while you're sleeping, let it be something that is going to reprogram your brain into this new stuff that we're telling you about because
Correct.
that's the time your REM sleep is like the best time of your life, right? Your REM sleep is when the juice is happening. The REM sleep is when your body is rejuvenating. When your cells are the old ones are dropping off and your cells are being renewed in your body. It's a magical moment, which is
Hmm.
why sleep is so important. So for
Hmm.
all of y'all out there who are talking about, oh, I'll sleep when I die, you may die sooner than you think. So just pay attention.
Yeah, I think,
Pay attention.
when you are sleeping, your conscious mind has been set aside and your
Yeah,
subconscious mind is
takes
is
over.
open. So when you are allowing TV and radio, even, or scrolling through your phone, doing the doom scroll through your phone before you go to bed, think about everything that you've fed into that subconscious mind that's wide
Mm,
open. And if you allow it to play all night long, you're just allowing hijackers to come in who you don't even know into your own mind.
yeah,
And this is where you
yeah,
really need to be protective of your mind. This is where you want to be out in public and you're hearing conversations happening. You don't get involved in those conversations. You walk away from those conversations. You shift those conversations because your mind is it's so powerful. And
yeah,
you want to put the right protection around it so that you're only staying in that wonderful, amazing, abundant, grateful state, that assumed success. Everything is going my way. I'm not going to get involved in that energy. You feel energy. You can stand in a coffee line and know that the person in front of you wants to complain to the person who's taking their coffee order. You can feel it before they even start. This is
only
where
if you
you begin
wait,
to
wait, only if
protect
you're
yourself.
consciously aware, though. Only if you're aware. Only if you're aware.
Well,
What?
it's true, but we still feel energy.
Yeah.
If you walk into your child in the morning, if they are in a good mood or a bad mood before you
Like you
even
brought that up.
make
I
eye contact.
Yeah, I have something to ask you because I've been toying with, and this is a side note, y'all. I'm just setting context. Because I've been wondering, because I know who you are, so I can ask you this question. When you hear about, because you brought up children, right? And you brought up that children know, right? When you hear what's your and you can answer it or you can choose not to answer it. It's whatever
Oh, I
you
can't
choose.
wait for the question now.
It's a setup.
I'm getting
Um,
ready. I'm ready.
so so when you hear about children being sick, no, it's from the so we're talking about quantum now, right? When you hear about children being sick, and when you hear about kids having all this kind of unsettledness in their bodies, where do you think that comes from? I have an idea about where it comes from, but I want to hear what you think about that. Like, why do you
Well,
think
are you
babies
talking
get sick?
right? But so you're talking about like they show up on the planet sick, or they tend to get sick more often as babies?
They tend to get more sick often as babies. When I hear a child, after now that I understand a lot of things and still
Mhm.
learning a lot of things about the quantum field, um, when I hear that a child who was born healthy is now ill with this disease, then my brain goes to, okay, if we are this cellular energetic being, then the child was born whole, healthy. How did the child show up sick after 5 years, right?
Mhm.
After 4 years, after I'm talking about the formative years between, let's say, 1 and 5.
Okay, well, I will say that the formative years between 1 and 5 are the years when the beliefs are being put into the child's mind. When a baby is born, the baby uh, has no conscious has no consciousness. Everything is the subconscious mind for that little baby. And it begins in the womb. And then when the baby is born, their minds are wide open. They take in everything around them. Everything, every idea, everything that's said around them goes right into their subconscious mind. This is what begins to form the beliefs, because once that habitual thing around them continues to be a habitual thought that continues to insert itself into their mind, they they then make that a habitual belief that becomes a paradigm. That's what your subconscious mind does. It's
Mhm.
so they don't even have the protective layer to choose or deny an idea. I mean, I remember for a few years I was doing kindergarten screening. So I'd have kids between the ages of 4 and 6 come in, and I'd take them through a series of mental tests and physical tests and things like that. And it was absolutely astounding the different kinds of kids that would show up. I mean, there would be kids who would be like, "Well, I can't be outside because I'll catch a cold." you know, and they're 4. So they didn't make that decision themselves. Somebody else made that decision for them, and they heard it so many times. It was like when I was growing up, you couldn't go swimming after you ate, right? You had to wait a half hour before you could get back in the pool. And that wasn't a thing that I discovered on my own. It was something that had been told to me again and again and again. And I would very patiently wait for 30 minutes after I would eat, right? And so I was using an example of this in one of my master classes about being extrovert and an introvert. You know, we don't say when we're 5, I am an introvert.
Introvert.
I'm an introvert. No, it's all of the adults around you telling you that you
Telling
are an
you.
introvert,
Oh my gosh, this is so good.
right? Because of this certain behavior. And I say in my master class, I say, I was a very talkative kid when I came into preschool and kindergarten. I was a happy, talkative, blah, 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 blah kid. And then the teacher started telling my parents that I was too talkative in class and that I was disruptive in class. And so then by 3rd grade, I was labeled an introvert. And I remained an introvert all the way through my adult formative years. And I look back on that and I think, was I really an introvert? But you are moved, and it's not that they're trying to do it in any kind of an evil way. It's just that
Right,
you are
yeah.
being molded into this way. Now, there are some children who show up on this planet with disease,
Yeah.
and that's a different story. I think that has something to do with purpose, life purpose, not just for that spirit in that being, but for the spirit in that being that is touching the lives of the people around. And so that's a whole different thing that we could go into. I know we've
Yeah.
really veered off of the success thing that we were
No,
going to
no,
talk about.
and that's the point, right? This is one of the reasons why I have this show, Diane. It's not separate. It's not separate.
No,
I asked you the
no.
question from a instinctive point of view, and the answer that you gave is so profound because it's going to give somebody an awakening to understand that. Because from what I heard you say, it's tied right into my thought process on it as well. Is that the kids, when a child is born healthy and whole and gets sick at anywhere between 1, 5, 10, I don't care how early, it's something in the house, it's something in the parent, it's something in the environment. Kids don't just get sick because their consciousness is not closed already, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
It's being formed. So my point is, and I didn't know this when I was raising my child. You get what I'm saying? That's why
Uh-huh.
I'm like, I'm giving you information so that when you have your kid now, you are careful of what you say, you are careful of what you eat, you're careful of all these things because they're all being programmed into your child. It's
Hmm.
that simple, right?
Well,
So
and I think so important to continue to encourage their imagination rather than shutting it down as they
down.
start getting into school years, because the imagination is the creator of reality and it is the thing that changes everything in this world. And if you
Mhm.
continue to let your children be in that imaginative place, just think of what they will do in the world because they have that confidence and they have the ability to imagine and create. Imagine, create, imagine, create. And they're going to see it around them. It's just so important that it not get tamped down, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Telling them that they're weak or anything like that.
Hmm.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Hmm.
Yes, I know some people are making money off of that, but that's why we are here, Diane. That's why we're here. All right. I know, whenever you come on the show, I have so much fun talking. We need to do something else, Diane. We got to figure it out.
Okay. We will. We're so busy creating our lives and we're happy doing it. So yes, it's
Yeah,
always good to get. I mean, I loved working with Bob Proctor because he would always get together with the most imaginative people out there, and I would get to be in the middle of that creation process, and it was so much fun. I mean, when you find another
yeah,
imaginative adult who believes in the fact that they can change things and that they have the ability to, that is where you really want to
let's
spend your time
go.
and create those joint ventures and do that kind of partnership. Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes. That's a good way to for us to end the show. So, Diane, what is the one thing you want people to walk away with from this conversation today?
Oh my goodness.
I know we said a lot. I know.
Mhm. I would say understand that success is a state of consciousness. Success is a state of consciousness.
I love that. I love that.
Be that state.
Yeah, that's powerful. That's powerful. All right, y'all. This is where we're gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna ditto what Diane just said, and I'm gonna say to you, go out there and be you. Be you. That's going to probably take some work, but I'm going to encourage you to just do it because outside of that, you're probably living a life that's not yours. And here's the thing I want to leave with you guys. I remember when I was in a leadership program, and I think you've heard me say this before. And one of the exercises that they gave us as homework was to go to a grave site, like the what do you call that? The burial ground. What do you call that again?
Mhm.
The cemetery.
Cemetery.
It was called a cemetery exercise. And when they gave us the exercise, I'm like, what the hell do I need to go to a cemetery for? No. And then I got it. They wanted us to go to the cemetery to look at all the headstones of the people there and think about all the creativity that was buried in the ground.
Mm.
There's a saying that says, my mentor, Miles Monroe, said that I don't know who he heard it from, but I heard it from him that the richest place on earth is cemetery
Mhm.
because all the ideas, all the creativity of the people were buried with them because they were so afraid to go out there and be themselves and be creative. So I'm going to encourage you. I'm going to encourage you. It's scary, yes, but that's why you get mentors. That's why you get coaches. That's why you get accountability partners. That's why you get the support. But I'm going to encourage you to really sit and look at your life and you get to determine what success is for you. And then if it's not what you're currently living, I'm going to encourage you to step out in faith and go be you. Yeah. So
Well
here's
said.
my direction for you. Do that. And don't forget to get your ticket to the Accelerate Her 2-day event because you're going to hear more. Diane is just one of my secret weapons. Another one is in the studio as well. Um, so be sure to get your tickets. And again, the donations go towards Alzheimer's Association for the eradication of Alzheimer's. Yeah, hope you found that. Thank you, Diane, for being such an amazing guest as per usual. I can't wait to hug you one day. Um, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. All right, y'all. Bye for now, and I'll see you next week. Like, subscribe, and share this video with your peeps if you found value in it. And make sure to come back next week. See y'all.
Bye-bye.